One of the websites that I have used for my journalism students is the Student Press Law Center. And as I was researching for this project, I went deeper into the Student Press Law Center than I ever have before. I have used some of their lesson plans to help teach about bias and the First Amendment, for example. But with this, I decided to look into it further and see how it really could help. And it really is quite amazing what they do offer. So when I looked at my standards, one of the things that I continually come back to is that it is my job to facilitate learning with technology to support student achievement. And I think that this works especially here because my students have to be able to know where to find the answers. There's going to be tough things that happen, and we are dealing with one right now with a poster that was taken at a football game and should have been taken. And so we're trying to kind of wade through this as to, are there any legal ramifications for any of it? And so this is where the Student Press Law Center really comes and helps out. And also another standard that I look to is the students taking an active role in choosing, achieving, and demonstrating their competency in their learning goals. And so again, it's about being able to do the research, to do the reporting, to do it themselves by utilizing the technology that they are offered to be able to make that happen. And so what we have in this website here is they've got a lot of different options of what you can check into, whether you are just coming from the high school aspect, or even if you're looking for yearbook information, they have it. Let's go look into the top 10 high school frequently asked questions. It's pretty simplistic about the First Amendment rights, and the number of people who don't understand this is pretty high. So I find that it's really important for the students to know this. And this is the situation that we're in right now that I've already talked to my students about this weekend is, if this poster is brought, do you have First Amendment rights? Does it matter that it was at a football game versus in the school? Because you don't lose your First Amendment. You don't lose that freedom of speech regardless of it being the school. So trying to wade through this is getting to be a little bit difficult. But again, this is such a great resource. They can get the background on the Hazelwood decision, which limited rights that students had in scholastic media. Then we get into the public forum question. But there's so many other things that we can move through. The tools that you can get into. This is an amazing thing here. It's the Freedom of Information Act letter generator. And so what it does is that it allows the students to, the Freedom of Information Act allows us, whoever we are, to obtain access to public records. And so this is a letter generator that the students can use to, the formality of what you're doing when you're dealing with the government can be pretty difficult. And so this does help out. It makes it an easy to complete form that we can send. So certainly my intended audience is my students, but at the same time, anybody can benefit from this knowledge of being able to navigate what rights you really do have. They also get into some of the issues that we've met with in recent years when there was the walkout about gun violence. And can we do that? Can we leave class? Can we go cover that? And so here, not only do they give information, they give some frequently asked questions on how to cover it. They also have their legal hotline that you can call. We're even touching on graduation speeches because those can kind of get into some hot water. So how can the young journalists deal with that? Censorship is not an issue that I have at my school. We have a principal who is really a supporter of journalism, which is incredibly helpful. However, we have found that administrators are taught about student publication rights differently than what journalism people know it to be. And so this kind of gives us the background of what stories should we do. If we do these stories, how can we deal with if censorship is something that could happen from our administration. So that's also really helpful. And then we also have quizzes, which we're always looking for a way to assess, and I think that this is a really excellent way to do this. And this is a simple First Amendment quiz. It's got 30 questions, and you can do a PDF of it. Or just start it right here and go through it with the students point by point or as an actual quiz. So a really helpful one. I am really pleased that I have discovered this, because those tools will only help me as I continue teaching journalism. And frankly, I want my students to be able to go capture that, get that information rather, research it, even if I'm not around.